Right now on Upfront.
Debate night in Milwaukee.
And if he shows up, he's going to be out on bail.
Just 72 hours away, the top Republican presidential hopefuls facing off at Fiserv Forum. The arena transforming, 11th hour debate prep now underway.
How are you preparing? I mean, do you need a breakout moment on the stage?
Looming over it all, the front runner, former President Donald Trump.
You do say, what's the upside?
Our guest this Sunday, Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, Congresswoman Gwen Moore, as Wisconsin prepares to launch the 2024 campaign. Then, inside the debate.
Another candidate could step up and have a dramatic night and suddenly garner a whole bunch of attention.
Former governor and presidential candidate Scott Walker is here, his organization preparing questions for the candidates. The new insight, the high stakes just days away.
And Democrats watching, preparing for their convention in Chicago. Democratic National Committee Chairman Jamie Harrison is here, the looming potential for a Biden-Trump rematch.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us from outside of Fiserv Forum, the site of Wednesday night's highly anticipated primetime presidential primary debate.
A make-or-break moment for some of these candidates now just 72 hours away. 8 qualifying to make the stage, meeting donor and fundraising requirements. The final deadline tomorrow, 48 hours before the debate, which also includes signing the pledge to support the eventual nominee. A lot to get to. Let's begin with Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Chairwoman, good to see you.
Great to be with you again. Thanks for having me.
Has former President Trump indicated his final decision to you yet?
He has not shared his final decision. I think he's going to keep us all waiting until Monday night of next week.
You know, the latest reporting from the New York Times, ABC News, is that he isn't going to attend and instead do an interview with Tucker Carlson on Twitter. Have you been given that indication from the campaign?
I've read the New York Times story, but I have not been given that indication from the campaign. I hope he does the debate. I think this is the beginning not just of the primary, but also of the general election. I think it's critical that we get our message out and talk about how we're going to beat Joe Biden and what we're going to do for the American people. So I hope that he ends up on the debate stage in Milwaukee.
When's the last time you've spoken with him, and do you plan to talk to him between now and Monday night?
Oh, I'm not going to share all my conversations with him, but I have spoken to him recently, and he has not indicated a yes or a no to me directly.
And does he need to? Does the campaign need to solidify a yes or no to the RNC?
Well, they'll have to by Monday. All the candidates will by Monday evening to put forward their small dollar donors for us to verify and to make sure, obviously, that we have staging set. And especially if it's the president, former President Trump will need Secret Service. So there is a drop deadline, which is Monday night, and that's for all the candidates to submit the criteria to qualify for the debate stage.
One of the sticking points from the former president has been signing the pledge. Is there any scenario you would allow him on stage without signing the pledge?
We're a rule of law party. We put the rules out. Everybody's following the rules. He signed a similar pledge to get on the South Carolina ballot. He signed this pledge in the past. He's going to have to sign it to get on the Florida ballot. I don't think the pledge is the sticking point. Really, President Trump's team is saying, you've got a big lead, don't get on the debate stage. And that's the advice he's being given by his consultants, and he'll have to weigh that advice. And I certainly hope that he does end up on the debate stage.
As the reporting has indicated over the weekend, if he doesn't show up, will his campaign and his surrogates still be allowed in the spin room?
So the spin room credentialing is done by Fox News, but my understanding is everyone will be able to have credentials and surrogates in the spin room.
Let's broaden the conversation out. 8 candidates have qualified at this point as you and I are talking. Do you anticipate any more candidates to qualify before the Monday night deadline?
There are a couple candidates that are really on the bubble right now who need either one more poll and a couple that have to submit their 40,000 small dollar unique donors to us. They can't just say they have it. They have to actually submit it to us for us to vet. We're treating every candidate the same. We are neutral, we are fair, and everyone is abiding by the same rules to make that debate stage. And they're going to have to meet that criteria, and they have till Monday evening to do so.
Former Vice President Mike Pence told me last weekend in Iowa he would sign the pledge by Wednesday the 23rd, or I guess Monday evening. Have all 7 candidates, former President Trump excluded, have all 7 candidates signed the pledge at this point?
I'm not going to share what everybody's done until Monday. We're going to give everybody time to get all of their pledges in or share that information for themselves. But you'll know by Monday everybody who has qualified, and that the pledge will be part of that.
Big picture, what should we expect on the stage Wednesday night, and what do you hope comes from this first debate here in Milwaukee?
Well, I think it goes to the pledge. It's called the Beat Biden Pledge. And my hope and my advice and counsel I would give to every candidate is remember what the end game is here, which is we want to beat Joe Biden. We want to do things better for the American people who are suffering from incredibly high inflation, who are making $10,000 less than they were when Biden took office, who are paying $2,000 more in energy costs, who are suffering from a huge fentanyl crisis that's killed 100,000 Americans. There are so many problems facing this country. And so I know we're on the debate stage facing each other, Republican versus Republican, but at the end of the day, please make sure we're focused on who we need to beat in November, and that's Joe Biden, so that we can do good things for the American people and certainly the people of Wisconsin.
As you know, there's been a ton of attention on this first debate. How big of a deal is this debate here in Milwaukee?
I think it's the kickoff. I say this all the time. I don't think it's the kickoff to the primary. I think it's the kickoff to the general. It's not often that you get the entire American public looking at your message, looking at your candidates, and having an opportunity to put forth your policies that will right the ship of this country. And so this is the beginning of the entire election season, and I'm really excited to kick it off in Milwaukee, where we're going to have the convention that nominates the next president of the United States.
An incredibly busy week ahead. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, we'll see you here in Milwaukee this week.
We'll see you in Milwaukee. Thanks, Matt.
Let's go ahead and bring in Congresswoman Gwen Moore of Milwaukee. Congresswoman, it's good to have you here. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, it's a wonderful day. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Is the city ready to host this debate?
Well, I'll tell you, let's get right to the point. I asked for an increase of $25 million more dollars than the $50 million that's allocated for these conventions for security and safety. And the appropriators only put $50 million in, and that's been the amount that we've had for these conventions since 2004, over 2 decades.
When we talk about the debate that's happening this week, you, of course, are a Democrat. Are you going to be watching this debate? Do you think that the city is ready to host a debate of this scale?
Well, if it's televised, I think I'll be watching it for sure. I have not been invited, but I do think that being in the Midwest, we have an opportunity to sort of sort through the potential Republican candidates, and this might be a place where somebody or some people can break through.
You were just looking ahead to the RNC here in Milwaukee next summer and some of your security concerns. You said recently you delivered that message to Speaker McCarthy, Senator McConnell, personally yourself.
Personally.
Is anything going to change?
Well, I don't know. Possibly I spoke with Speaker McCarthy, of course, who's in charge of our House, and they're in the majority in our House. And he assured me that the appropriations process was not over. So I see that as hopeful, because I did admonish him with the fact that the appropriators had not, regarded not only my letter, but the fact that the entire delegation, including the chairman of the House Administration Committee, Brian Stahl, approved it. Senator Johnson, the entire delegation signed on to this request. And so I did frontally confront him about this dearth of funding and what it might mean for the success of our convention here.
President Biden was in Milwaukee this past week. You were there introducing him, touting some of the same accomplishments that you shared with us here. We know that Donald Trump is right now the GOP frontrunner. Do you want to see a Biden-Trump rematch?
Well, that'll be up to the Republican delegates who they nominate. I'm scratching my head and wondering why Donald Trump would be their frontrunner. I don't think any of the polls suggest that he could win a general election. And quite frankly, I know a lot of Republicans in this area are reasonable Republicans, rational Republicans. Maybe some of them will just pinch their nose and vote for him anyway. But the kind of enthusiasm that it takes to win, and people getting out there and dragging every vote and knocking on doors and being happy, I just think that it'll be difficult beyond the president's base to really encourage regular Republicans to support him.
Are you running for re-election next year?
I am running for re-election.
No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Congresswoman Gwen Moore, like always, Congresswoman, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, going inside the debate, former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker is here, the former presidential candidate on that debate stage himself in 2016. Now his organization preparing questions for the candidates. That's next on this special edition of Upfront from the GOP presidential debate.